Serial killers often fit a pattern: a troubled past, warning signs, a violent history. But sometimes the most dangerous ones are the ones no one sees coming. He had no criminal record, no history of violence, just an ordinary man, living an ordinary life. But behind closed doors, he was something else entirely. By the time police caught him, it was too late. Too many lives had already been lost. And the worst part? He had been hiding in plain sight for over a decade. On March 18th, 2012, police in Cincinnati, Ohio, responded to a 911 call from a jogger who had stumbled upon a gruesome scene near the edge of a wooded park. The body of a young woman, later identified as Jessica Rowe, 24, was found carefully positioned beneath a tree. Her hands were folded neatly over her chest, and a single red ribbon was tied around her neck. There were no signs of sexual assault, no robbery, no defensive wounds. It was as if she had simply laid down and died. The coroner ruled asphyxiation as the cause of death. But something wasn't right. Detectives believed this wasn't just a random killing. It felt staged, almost ritualistic. But without any leads, the case went cold. Until it happened again. Over the next 4 years, police found 5 more bodies in and around Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana. All young women between 21 and 30 years old. Each one had been strangled and carefully positioned. Each one had a red ribbon tied around her neck. It was clear a serial killer was hunting in the Midwest. The media dubbed him the Silent Butcher. A killer who left behind no forensic evidence, no hair, no fibers, nothing. The FBI was called in, and profilers determined the suspect was likely. A white male, mid-30s to early 40s, highly intelligent, socially skilled. Someone with a job that allowed frequent travel. Organized, methodical, and precise. But even with this profile, there were no real suspects. Whoever the Silent Butcher was, he was invisible. And then, he made a mistake. On September 4th, 2017, 25-year-old Rebecca Lawson was walking home from her night shift at a diner in Lexington, Kentucky, when a car pulled up beside her. The man inside smiled and asked if she needed a ride. Rebecca hesitated. Something about him felt off. He was too polite, too charming, almost rehearsed. She declined, but before she could walk away, he lunged, dragging her into the car. Rebecca fought with everything she had. She scratched, bit, and kicked until she was able to break free and escape. She ran straight to the nearest gas station, bleeding from a cut on her arm. The cashier called 911, and within minutes, police arrived. Rebecca gave them a detailed description. Mid-40s, average build, clean-cut, polite, calm, eerily soft-spoken. Drove a silver sedan, no license plate visible. Police scanned traffic cameras and found a match. The car was registered to a man named Daniel Reeves, a 42-year-old traveling salesman from Louisville, Kentucky. He had no criminal record, no history of violence, just an ordinary man. But when police searched his home, what they found shook them to their core. Reeves lived alone in a modest, 2-story home. It was clean, well-maintained, nothing unusual. But in his basement, detectives found a hidden room, soundproofed, with chains mounted to the walls. On a wooden table, they found dozens of red ribbons neatly arranged in rows. And in a locked filing cabinet, they found photos. Hundreds of them. Each victim posed just like they had been found. And worst of all, there were 3 women in the photos who had never been reported missing. That meant there were more victims. More bodies police had never even found. Reeves was arrested immediately. Under interrogation, Reeves remained eerily calm, He denied everything at first, but when police showed him the photos, he simply smiled and said,
"You finally figured it out."
In court, Reeves showed no remorse. His trial lasted 3 weeks, with dozens of victims' families filling the courtroom. The prosecution painted a horrifying picture. A man who had spent years perfecting his craft, choosing his victims carefully, making sure no evidence was ever left behind. But then, in a chilling moment, Reeves finally spoke. When asked why he chose his victims, he responded,
"They were perfect. I made them perfect."
He refused to elaborate. Reeves was found guilty on all counts and sentenced to life without parole. But the case wasn't over. Because even after his conviction, police believe there are more victims. Women who were never found, whose disappearances were never connected to him. And the scariest part, Reeves never told them the full number.
"Some secrets should stay buried,"
he said before being led away in cuffs. The case of Daniel Reeves, the silent butcher, remains one of the most chilling serial killer cases in modern history. He was a man with no red flags, no criminal record, no obvious warning signs. He was the kind of killer no one ever suspected. And for over a decade, he lived among ordinary people, blending in, until the night one woman fought back and brought a monster to light. If you found this case chilling, be sure to subscribe for more true crime stories. Stay alert, stay safe, and always trust your instincts.